You're trying to fly. Like, you want to be in, out, you want to change your settings and be ready to go, not be faffing around.
I can actually see with my sight impairment.
I remember I called you Scuba Steve
I like the product.
because again, it solved one problem, created another.
You can't see what you're setting when you press up in the corner.
Would you buy it for the price, the regular price?
No.
Hey guys, what's going on? So today we're here with the Drone Mask 2. This is a VR style mask that you put on your head, you throw your phone in it, and you connect it to your Mavic, your GPS birds, and you fly it with your phone inside. This is my friend Patrick, One Eye in the Sky here on YouTube. I have glasses, I'm very nearsighted. Patrick has
One eye.
I gotta mention, Drone Mask did send this product to us for review. However, this is 100% unfiltered. So they reached out to us and they said, hey, we fixed some of the problems with the Drone Mask 1 and we'd like you to take a look. So let's go over the biggest change that they made, which is, as you can see, they've cut holes in the mask, which allow you to put your fingers in it and get to the menu items on your phone. You know, one of the biggest problems we had in our first review, and you had to unzip the mask for me to get to the menu, right?
Right.
Every time you have to unzip that old Drone Mask 1, get inside, then zip it back in. It just was a pain in the butt. As you can see, your index fingers will fit right up in there. You have free range of motion to get to most of the phone screen to change what you need to do.
This model is now included with the cables, and they give you a USB-C to USB-C and a USB-C to Lightning, and they also give you a micro USB to C adapter in case you're still in the phone dark ages. Roughly the $10 that you would have spent on cables at Amazon to use the mask are now included with the product. So the original mask was also black, which anybody that's using it in summertime, it kind of is a detriment. Black absorbs heat, it gets hotter, it's going to make your phone screen dim because your phone's going to get hotter. They have now come out with this this light gray color.
Even though it's not summertime here where we are in mid-Missouri, even just being in the sun today, the mask definitely doesn't absorb as much heat as the prior one did.
Correct.
All right, let's talk about the focal distance because this was huge for you.
On the old Drone Mask, I could only see about 80 to 85% of the screen. On this new one, they have actually improved the focal length on it, so I can actually see with my sight impairment about 95% of the screen. So just the lower left corner, the map or the radar screen, if that's what you want to call it, that's the only part that I can't see. When we put a larger phone in it, like I use John's iPhone 12 Pro Max, which has about a 6.7 inch screen, I couldn't see the menu items on the very far left side of the screens. Feel like I have to mention that if you use a larger screen in this, there isn't that much adjustments sideways. My phone that I currently use to fly with has a 6.1 inch screen, so I have some adjusting room.
So that pretty much wraps up what we like about the Drone Mask changes. So let's go over now what we don't like, starting with the solution that they came up with to address that you can't get inside the mask. When you put your finger in the mask, it doesn't always reconform and hug the edges and close again. So what happens is you'll have a little bit of a flap that's malformed and now it's leaking light into the mask. And this is really a shame because part of the whole point of this setup is that you're fully immersed, you're blocking all the light out, and now that there are holes in it and this material doesn't close all the way or doesn't conform all the way, you've got light leak, especially if you've got the sun, depending on what angle it's coming at you.
I don't think the holes, the cutouts need to be this large. Even at the smallest little corner there, as you can see, I can get my finger into. And I've got ginormous hands. They could have cut these right at the corner there, because then you don't have to have a curved piece of material that has to fall back into shape to close off the light.
This solution solves one problem only to create another, and it puts a damper on the experience. These flaps for the mask, they're held in with Velcro. They're Velcroed to the edges of the mask, as we said, and we've tried to remove the Velcro and reseat it. Actually, when I brought this up to Drone Mask, they suggested trying to do that. Unfortunately, we were not able to resolve the problem. We were working with wrangling the flaps for a decent bit of time.
If just a very little bit grabs in there, it throws off the entire replacement.
You're trying to fly. Like, you want to be in, out, you want to change your settings and be ready to go, not be faffing around, messing with the flaps. This is a minor addendum to this section with the flaps. We noticed something out in the field when it came to accessibility of the lower areas of the screen.
When you press up in the corner, I mean, you can see it, but you know it's there, but you don't know what you're hitting. It's you got to know where your button press is.
Basically, what Patrick is saying here is that the flap, as you can see, tends to cover the lower right corner of the screen or left, depending on what side you're on. And you're kind of left to guess if you need to get to those menu items where you need to press.
You don't know where to press because the flap covers where you're pressing. So one of the other things that is a concern for us was the weight of the mask with the phone.
Even with the holes cut in it, this is actually a heavy set mask. We're talking, I weighed it, and this mask is 424 grams, even before you put a phone inside. Now, the iPhone 12 Pro Max, which is what I have, weighs about 228 grams. Once you put a big phone like the Pro Max in there, that's a lot of weight. That's 1.55 pounds. So there's a lot of weight on your head there. I think it's interesting to note that the DJI FPV goggle version 1 weighs 448 grams. And that's with electronics, with optics, with everything inside of it, with a heavy phone set all the way in the front of the mask. It's literally hanging. It's nothing to counterbalance it. And then in the original review, I remember I called you Scuba Steve because it literally pushes down on your nose.
Yep. It definitely changes your voice a little bit.
Just a little bit.
For me, there's no other way for this device to work from a visual perspective than to have it out all the way. Now, again, I wasn't using it initially with a Pro Max phone. It wasn't as heavy as it is currently with my Pro Max in there.
So the only suggestion by Drone Mask when I asked them about this was to try putting a weight on the back of the mask as an attempt to counterbalance the heavy weight in the front. And honestly, just realistically, I'm not going to do that. You're probably not going to do that either. So just keep that in mind. If you have a heavy phone, you're going to feel it in the front of the mask. And if you got to have that focal distance out, then it's just not going to be a comfortable experience for you. One last thing about the comfort while we're at it, because this sort of ties into it. This foam material actually has some very rough edges on it. And if I press my finger into it, and because your phone's going to be pushing down on the mask, going to be putting pressure on your nose area. Here, look, there's a little line on my finger, digs into your nose. I would have to cut this. Like, I would probably have to cut it and smooth the edges out. Just a minor weird problem with the foam material.
For me, I think my fat nose is enough to squish it down enough where it doesn't bother me as much.
I've got a pretty big nose too, but I guess it depends on how it sits on your face.
I developed a way when we were flying it of just looking down, so it kind of took the weight. Well, I let gravity kind of take the weight and kind of pulled it away from my nose a little bit. So I didn't notice it quite as much as John did.
If you do have a lightweight, small phone, then that'll work to your benefit, even with it all the way out. But with my iPhone 12 Pro Max, it was very unenjoyable as far as comfort goes. Would you buy it for the price, the regular price that they are advertising at?
No, I would not. Even with the included cables. I would not.
The included cables, right. So part of the original complaint that we had is that it was just too expensive for what you get as far as the experience goes.
Basically, they cut material out of the mask, added some flaps, gave you some cables, and charged you $10 more.
In conclusion, Drone Mask definitely did try. They tried to fix the problems, and to their credit, yeah, you can now get to the phone with your fingers. They did fix that problem. Honestly, we say it's a fix, but to me it's a flawed fix because it solved one problem, created another. I don't know. I feel like they kind of just need to go back to the drawing board with this concept, to be honest with you. That's my feeling. What about you?
I like the product. I really want the product to work for me. I understand that there's going to be a limitation on my side. It's not something that they can solve. I think they need to try a different solution for the access ports. and maybe a better strap,
Yeah.
something that's a little less stretchy, something more you can tighten up that could hold that weight
Yeah.
instead of it having to rest on your nose.
I would have wanted to see a more elegant solution than just cutting material out of the mask. This just feels cheap.
With the new integrated controllers that we're getting now with these,
Right.
with the newer drones, the Mini 3, we're finding now support for the Air 2S on the new RC controllers. I think this is going to be less of a thing.
There's a shift away from using your phone, in part because of the problem that the drone mask has been aiming to solve. These all-in-one controllers, they don't have those issues that the phone has because they've got enough nits to let you continue to see. Still a very clunky solution to that problem. It does cover a lot of the older generation drones, and there's tons of those out there.
I really want to like this thing. I really do.
At the end of the day, you wouldn't buy it.
I wouldn't.
You
I'm
bought the
sorry.
first one.
I
You
bought
bought
the first one.
And now we've got the second one that was given to us for free to do a review. And even after that, you still wouldn't buy it. So
No.
I think that says a lot. I think that
Yeah.
says a lot. I'd rather put that money towards something else.
You want an immersive experience with this thing, use it in your house, throw your phone in it, throw some headphones on and watch a movie through it. I bet you it's awesome.
This actually used to be a Movie Mask, believe it or not. The original brand for this was Movie Mask. And for a movie inside your home, that's probably not bad. If you have a heavy phone, not going to be very comfortable to watch a movie with. All right, that's it, guys. That's our overview of the Drone Mask 2. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank Patrick, One Eye in the Sky, here on YouTube. Links down in the video description below to his channel. Please go check him out. And thank you for
Absolutely.
buying the first one, because I don't think we would have ended up having this for the channel if you didn't get the first ones.
I'm glad they sent it out for us to take a look at.
Me too.
I'm sorry it's not a better conclusion.
Not a better conclusion. Maybe not the conclusion that they want, but hey, I told them it's going to be 100% unfiltered. This is it. What do you think of it from just seeing this video? Do you think we're crazy? Do you think we're way off base? Maybe too harsh? Or if you've got the Drone Mask 2 by now when you're watching this video, do you like it? Let us know down in the comments below. Are there other people out there that feel the same? I'm also really curious about the material issues that we mentioned. You know, is there anyone else out there having those problems? And let's get a discussion going down there. I'd love to hear from you. I'm gonna go do some flying, and so is he, and we'll catch you later.